Hello and welcome to today's English lesson. My name is Stuart. In today's lesson, we're looking at words and vocabulary associated to the topic of fraud and corruption. Let's go to the intro. Now, as I said, today's lesson is looking at this topic here, fraud and corruption, and vocabulary, words, expressions that we use in English to talk about this particular topic. Now, fraud and corruption are two problems, let's say, in a lot of countries where companies, politicians, individuals commit fraud and corruption activities to the detriment of society and other human beings. So we're going to look at words that we can use to talk about this topic in English, because most likely if you're living in a country where this is a problem, it could come up in conversation and you will need to know these types of words. So the first thing we're going to look at is the base words, fraud and corruption. So for example, in English, you commit fraud, okay? You commit fraud. You are corrupt, or someone is corrupt. Someone is a corrupt person. You can carry out or commit fraudulent activity, and you can also defraud, okay? So you can commit fraud, or you can defraud, or you can carry out fraudulent activity, or basically if you are corrupt or if somebody is corrupt. Now, different types of corruption and fraudulent activity could be false accounting, where you have accounting practices that are legal and accounting practices which are illegal running at the same time, parallel accounting system, okay? So false accounting. Maybe it's insider trading, where somebody gets information about a company and invests in that company and the stock price increases, so you get insider trading. Match fixing is a problem nowadays as well when it comes to sport. Match fixing on a football game or a tennis match or a cricket game, for example, where the result is manipulated. This is known as match fixing. Maybe you lose your money in a pyramid scheme. Somebody commits fraud with a pyramid scheme where you invest money in a type of scheme, and one day the money disappears and the person disappears. That's a pyramid scheme. Or a Ponzi scheme, which is similar, more or less. 10 years ago in the States, there was a famous Ponzi scheme with Bernard Madoff. Okay, that was an example of a Ponzi scheme where people invest money trying to get a big return, but the money disappears. And tax evasion is a common problem nowadays, especially in Europe and the States as well. Companies are avoiding tax. Individuals are moving their money to tax havens where they don't have to pay as much tax as they would in their normal country. So they are trying to avoid tax or evade tax through tax evasion. Now, different types of fraudulent activity. We can have a scam, okay? A scam. A scam is a type of illegal activity where people end up losing money. There's a scam. Maybe there's some type of, maybe somebody embezzles money or commits embezzlement where they steal money illegally from a company. Maybe they try to extort or commit extortion where they try to get money illegally from somebody. You try to extort money from that person. Maybe you try to fix the result of something, as we saw here with a match fixing. Maybe bribe, or somebody commits bribery, where you offer money to somebody for a favor or to get them to do something for you. You try to bribe them In politics, it's quite common that politicians receive money or a bribe in order to pass a law or to change the zoning regulations so people can build houses and things like that. Bribery. Blackmail is another problem as well, where you blackmail somebody, you get information about somebody and you threaten to make that information public unless they give you money. You blackmail somebody. Graft is another problem where politicians use their influence for illegal gain. Graft, very, very common in some countries. Graft. And the last one here is swindle, where you deceive somebody or you trick them into giving you their money. You swindle money, okay? Swindle. Now, these are some expressions related to fraud and corruption. The first one we can see here is cook the books. You cook the books, similar to false accounting, where you try to manipulate the records, your financial records in a company. You cook the books. You can try to buy somebody off. Maybe you try to give money to somebody to influence a decision. Again, okay, close to bribery. Okay, you buy somebody off for their influence, or they do favors for you. You can be a front for something, or something can be a front. Maybe there's some type of business that you see, but there's an illegal activity behind it. So there's like a front. You can siphon off. You can siphon money off. This is where, again, if you use the money from a company illegally, you can siphon the money off for personal expenses, personal gain, to siphon off. You can grease somebody's palm, where you give them money in exchange for something. Again, bribery. You grease somebody's palm. It's another way of saying bribery. And you can pay money under the table. You can pay money in B, illegally, under the table. You pay money under the table, or you give money under the table. So it's not open, it's not transparent. So the tax man or the tax inspector doesn't know about it because you're paying money under the table for something. So all of these words are related to fraud and corruption. Now, thank you very much for watching the lesson. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Share it with your friends on social media. I'll see you in the next English lesson. Have a good day. Bye.